So, Rob, you know we had to talk about it. Cammy has won 2 CPT events in a row, and you know what people are saying. They're saying it's almost a dirty word in the FGC and all of gaming. They're saying...
Are you talking about the C word? I know you're not going to say it. I know you're not going to say the C word.
Are characters carrying these players to their victories? That's what we got to talk about. We got to talk about.
Okay, outside of just these players in general, so I want to make sure the topic is clear. Are you comfortable talking about just do characters carry players in general, including these CPT results?
Right. I mean, they already know. We've already been praising those players. No disrespect to those, but in general, can a character carry you?
I'm gonna have to keep it a buck with you right now. A character cannot carry a player, at least dependent on the context. And I know this is no neutral, so do not get me twisted. I would never give you guys a middle of the road, you know what I mean, neutral take. We aren't here for any of that. But let me keep it a buck, man. A lot of y'all are just being scrubby and crying and complaining. And I'm gonna keep it honest with you. I'm tired of it. Big Hollywood is just about done with all of that. And I'm gonna explain why. First and foremost, we've been hearing this since we were born onto this earth. Skills pay the bills. And in this context, oh my goodness, that couldn't be more right. In the end of the day, you gotta read and react. You gotta see the player tendencies. If somebody's gonna dash at me and I'm using Guile versus using Karen versus using what, all that changes there as far as my dash check is it a 3-frame or a 4-frame? But generally speaking, I should be able to react to the dash just the same. And it changes how much damage I get. That's not getting carried. If I know my opponent is gonna jump, if I know my opponent is gonna tech on defense, things of that nature. So in the end of the day, a character is not going to affect match results unless players are on a similar skill level. And a lot of you guys don't want to hear that. A lot of you guys are pulling up to the Big Hollywood chat at RobTV Live on Twitch. A lot of you guys are pulling up to Brian_F on Twitch, and you are talking about how, man, I'm tired of these Seth players, man. I'm tired of these Cammy players, man. They don't really deserve to get the victory against me. Shut up, you suck, you're bad, you're garbage, and that's why you're salty in the end of the day. Look, the player is either around your skill level, they're around your skill level, or you don't know the matchup. But at that point, is that player being carried, or are you taking an anchor that's filled with metal and salt and throwing it into the water and bring yourself down? They're not being carried, they're staying afloat, and you're anchoring yourself to being garbage.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the matchup thing, because I got a slightly different way of phrasing it. Because you know what, Rob? I think characters do carry. I think they do.
What?
I think they do. But you know what? I think we all play our own characters. We're all carried. All of our characters are good at something. They specialize in something. You play Balrog, you're carried by those -4 dash punches. And you play Karen, and you're carried by the most broken neutral in the game. Talking about I'm outplaying you with footsies. Talking about my whiff punishes. The character is built to do that. You're carried by that. It's built into the character, right? So every character has things they specialize in. You are not immune from the strengths of your characters, like you're not immune from the strengths of other people's characters. But I'm so glad you brought up the matchup point, because I think this is where you can really see this carried mentality. And I think we got to divvy it up between 2 different spheres, 2 different schools of thoughts, right? The average, the beginner intermediate mindset, and then the high level mindset. In the beginner intermediate level mindset, you're carried by that gimmicky character with really strong offense. That Abigail, you can't anti-air him because his jump heavy kick hits you from the ground the moment he leaves the air, right? That Blanca V-Trigger 2, because you have zero idea what's going on when he does EX Rainbow Ball, then flies across the screen, then does random EX upper, and somehow it's safe, even though it's not. What's going on is that there's certain characters that have strong gimmicks. And you say, if you are a stronger player, you should still win. Skill is not a linear concept. It's not you go from level 1 to 100. There's many different areas you can improve in as a player. If you have an extremely strong foundation in Street Fighter, which is generally like your whiff punishing, your concept of spacing, your anti-airs, if you're building that up, good on you. You're building a strong foundation for the future to be able to play any character, to be able to play any style, right? Okay, so you're doing this hard work, you're building a strong foundation, and then you lose to someone just doing flips with Abigail, who clearly only knows 2 moves. They know run punch, and they know Abigail flip, and you lose. And you go, wait a minute, I know X, Y, and Z, and this guy is on A and B, and he bodied me. He is carried. Well, maybe, but who cares? The finish line, you guys are here at the beginning of the race. You're a little bit ahead of him, and he beats you. Whatever, who cares? The finish line is in the next country. It's in the next planet. You have so much more to learn for it to even matter. So who cares if he carried you? Who cares if Abigail carried that person over you? Who cares if Balrog carried that other player over you? You have so much more to learn. It's okay. Sometimes you lose to players who are weaker than you because they specialize in something that you just haven't figured out yet. You need to carry yourself to the lab and figure out how to stop them. And then, surprise, surprise, they're not. At the end of the day,
they're being salty about like it. You being salty about getting somebody else getting 128th place over you. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're getting top 8 CPT events anyway. Oh, you got carried to 128th place. Oh, screw you! Like, come on, bro. It makes no sense.
Right. But you know, that said, that's kind of like on the beginner level, the intermediate level mindset. But at the high level, that 1% difference in character strength can make the difference, because 1% difference in results could be the difference between second and first. So I think there's a little bit more nuance once you shift gears, right? At the highest level, people are approaching that human limit. They're really pushing the boundaries as far as you can go with skill. So having that little bit percentage of an advantage, because fighting games are going to inherently be imbalanced forever. I don't care how much you guys complain on Twitter, they're just going to be cycling through top tiers, because unless we're all playing Ryu mirror matches till the end of time, there's going to be balance issues, because there's going to be characters that are different, and this is how it is. And in fact, you want that.
And not even balance issues, but just balance. It's not an issue,
right?
But it's going to be balance.
I mean, it's just a fact of life, right?
Yeah.
So that 1% can matter. I mean, we might be seeing that with Cammy right now, but it's not like these players are carried there. They have the skills, they're close in range with the skill level. Maybe they're getting a push right now with their character being a little bit more stronger than the others, and this does affect things. But what we see time and time again is players who transcend that, right? Like, who are the players you look up to? Who are the players who are consistently winning at the highest levels? They're not carried. They might switch to a character that has that 1% more advantage, or they might sometimes lose a bad matchup here and there, but those dudes are consistent for a reason. So balance patches can make or break a career if you're not at that level. That can happen. We've seen it happen. We might have even been a part of it for a season, maybe back in season 2, right? It happens. But at the end of the day, just get better.
Brian, you put it beautifully. Carry yourself to the lab.